So I'll walk you through today literally the training system that helped me build a lean athletic physique and do it in literally like 2 hours, sometimes less per week. And this is something I used to follow like 5 years ago when I was a builder, before I started online coaching, when I was getting up at 5, getting out the door at 6, getting back at 6, 7 some days, depending on traffic, being absolutely shattered. And I just needed something short, sharp, and simple to follow that was going to help me still achieve the goals I wanted. And look, just to preface, my goal is not to get jacked, it's not to get massive, it's not to be a bodybuilder. If that's you, this video is not for you. It's just for the guys that want to build some muscle, look good with their top off, be lean, be athletic. Like, this is the sort of system that's going to help you get in the best shape possible. So what I used to do, which is what a lot of guys do as well, is follow like these bodybuilding plans where you're training 5 to 6 days a week. You're doing like chest and triceps on a Monday, back and biceps on the Tuesday, you're doing legs, doing shoulders, and you're doing arms. And like, I'm not saying that you can't get some progress on this, but it's just not effective for guys that are not enhanced. And for guys like yourself and myself that are busy, they've got a lot going on, and they don't want to spend every single hour that they have free living in the gym like a bodybuilder. What you need is something that's short, sharp, and effective that can get you in and out in 30 to 45 minutes for 2 to 3 days a week. So on the weeks where you're really busy, it's like you can just do 2 and you can still get a good amount of work in. On the days you're less busy, on the weeks you're less busy, you can get 3 in. And that's really the way this system works. The reason why it works so well as well, again, it's easy to stick to because weirdly, you know, mentally you don't have to be in the gym for hours and go in there many days a week. You actually look forward to those sessions more, which means because you look forward to them more, 1, you don't skip them, but 2, you just attack them with a completely different mindset. So you go in and you push a lot harder and they're just more effective. And the other reason why is that, especially for natural lifters like myself and you, to build muscle and strength, you're gonna get way more or better results if you train a muscle group. For example, like chest, if you train that 2 to 3 times a week, you will get better results than if you just train it once a week. The other thing as well is that when you do, for example, a chest exercise 3 days a week with a day off in between and then 3 sets for all of those exercises, you can hit that really hard and you'll be less fatigued. Whereas when you do a chest day, you do your first exercise, you feel great. Second one, still okay, but you're more fatigued. By the time you get to the 3rd and the 4th chest exercise, you're so fatigued, you cannot attack that exercise very well. So it's less effective and you will just get a lot less from it. So when you split it up into 2 to 3 days a week, again, you can hit that muscle group from harder, which is more effective because you are just a lot less fatigued and more fresh as well. So actually being able to progress that becomes a lot easier. When you're doing your 3rd exercise of the day on chest, you're so fucked and fatigued, like, you know that feeling, and you probably just can't beat the previous week. Whereas when it's just the only one you do every week, it's a lot easier to just get an extra rep here, an extra rep there, or add a bit more weight, which obviously is really important for muscle growth. So the way to break this down, in my opinion, to make it as time effective as possible, which is what I literally used to do, is as the following. Instead of doing, like, for example, just to kind of go over it, instead of doing every single muscle group, for example, a chest exercise, then a back, then a quad, then a hamstring, then a shoulder, then a bicep, then a tricep, and then abs, that would obviously cover the whole session. If you do all those things individually, you will spend probably like an hour and 30 minutes in the gym. The best way to do it is to pair exercises together. But what you want to do, ideally, for the most part, is pair exercises that don't affect each other. So for example, you would do for your chest, you do like a, let's just say really easy, a dumbbell bench press, and you would superset that with like an RDL, right? Hamstring and a chest, not actually going to affect each other. So when you hit the chest hard and you rest like 10 seconds, and you go straight into the RDL, you're able to hit both of those very effectively and progress from the previous week. And then that's obviously going to just save you time from just doing 3 sets of that and then 3 sets of the next one and then so on and so forth. Then you could do back, which could be like a machine row or something, or a cable row or something like that. Superset with a goblet squat or a split squat. So you're hitting your quad, you're hitting your back again. Pair them together, you've saved a lot of time. You can hit both of those very effectively. Then you compare like a bicep curl with a skull crusher for your triceps, and then you could do a lateral raise. Again, none of these things really affect each other, so you can hit all of them hard, and now you've paired all three together, you're saving so much more time, and you can just tag on an ab exercise at the end. This is gonna literally condense the session down from what would be like an hour and a half to literally like 30 to fucking fly, to like 30 to 45 minutes. The other benefit of this is that from a fat loss perspective as well, when you are hitting the whole body and you're pairing things together, there is going to be a much better fat burning response. Obviously, your training is to build muscle, and it's not because of burning fat, but because you're going to be working a bit more anaerobically, because it's going to feel like you're obviously doing really short, sharp rest. It's going to have that feeling of a little bit like cardio at the same time. You are going to get a better effect of like trying to lose fat whilst you're building muscle. So it just gets the best, in my opinion, of both worlds. And this is how I used to train. I don't train like this anymore. But if you look at my client results, I put some up here, like say 99% of my clients train 3 days a week or 2 days a week and have followed a full body or an upper lower sort of system. So like this stuff literally works. It's proven. And in my opinion, it's the best way to do things. And if you're thinking, right, that's how this flies, stressing me. So if you're thinking, what's my train of thought now? If you're thinking, right, how do you set this up outside of those exercises? So obviously you do 3 days a week, you set it up in those supersets like I spoke about. So upper body, lower body. If you want, you can do chest and back because they obviously don't affect each other. Hamstring, quad, that's fine. But you want to ideally do 3 sets and everything with, I'd probably say around like 6 to 12 reps. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. 6 to 12 reps is enough to build strength, it's enough to build muscle, and you want to, most importantly, do 2 things. One is you want to get this fly to fuck off. And then, so the first thing you want to do is you want to be training within a rep or 2 shy of failure. So you want these sets to be very, very intense, because if they're not intense and you're not getting close to failure, you're not going to be stimulating strength or muscle growth. So one, the intensity needs to be there for this to be effective. The second thing is you want to log what you do. So you want to log how many reps you do on every set, and then obviously what weight you do. And then once you do that, every week, you then want to beat the logbook. So last week, let's say you got the first set, you got 10, the second set, you got 8, and the third set, you got 7. Trying the next week, can you get 11? Can you try and get 9 on the next set? Can you try and get 9 or 8 on the next set? So can you just get a little bit more every time, or can you add a little bit more weight? That's going to be key. Training close to failure on these sets, but every single week trying to beat the logbook, trying to progress, because that over time is what's actually going to lead to you building a bit more muscle, shaping the body as you lose the fat, and obviously building that lean physique you want. So that's essentially the system. That's how, in my opinion, you should be training, and as a time strict and a busy guy that wants to get in phenomenal shape. If that's helpful, you want more advice and videos from me with a flyer that's just absolutely going fucking mental and putting me off this whole video, but we got through it, then like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos to come in the future.